And joining me right now here on the Mark Moses Show to preview the 2025 Stanley Cup Finals, which start Wednesday night there in Edmonton. It's the voice of the Florida Panthers. And now he's getting used to this because this is his third time in a row calling the Cup Finals. He is the great Doug Plagens. Doug, how you doing today?
Doing great, Mark. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You're a busy man. I'm doing fine. Are you getting ready for this finals, buddy?
We are getting ready. We're excited to have the Panthers heading back to the Cup Final for a third year in a row. And for all the Panthers fans out there, I know it's exciting. I hope everybody is taking this in and enjoying it because obviously, hey, we're all sports fans. We know how difficult this is, especially in today's era, to make it back to a final in any sport for a third straight year. This is a special accomplishment. I know there's still one more box to check for this Panthers team, and obviously they are hungry to repeat after winning it last year. But to get back to a final 3 years in a row, like I said, in any sport, this is rarefied air. So, again, it's a special time for the Panthers. It's a great time to be a Panthers fan. I hope everybody's enjoying this.
Was there a moment this postseason, winning 3 straight rounds, a game, a period, where you're like, okay, we're clicking and we could go try to hoist the cup again?
Well, I'll tell you what, going into the playoffs, the Panthers, plain and simple, this is a contender. This has been a contender all season, and you knew that this team, once you got into the playoffs, had the ability to make a run and get back to the final. There's no question about it. Now, the Eastern Conference had a lot of other teams that figured to be contenders as well. But the way the Panthers got by Tampa Bay in round one, I thought that was a bit of a statement there. Obviously, every opponent's different, but in that rivalry matchup, to get by Tampa Bay in 5 games, I thought the Panthers really showed something in that opening round series, especially defensively, the way they limited some of Tampa Bay's big guns during that series. But every deep playoff run is going to have a couple of key turning point moments, turning point type of games that you're going to look back on and say, okay, that might have been the start of something, or that might have been where something shifted. And I thought in the Toronto series, for one, Panthers team, and it's in their DNA, and it comes with the experience. Even though they went down 2-0 after losing those first 2 in Toronto in round 2, there was no panic. This team's game never wavered. They've always been good about that, just sticking to it. Their game tends to look the same every single night. And then in game 3, things got a little bit dicey there for a minute. The Panthers were down 2-0 and then down 3-1, also down 2-0 in the series, but then came back and won that game 3 at home against Toronto in overtime. Brad Marchand scored, and that got the Panthers back to within a game in the series, and it felt like things really started to snowball after that, and they had those 2 runaway victories in Game 5 and Game 7 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then in the series against Carolina to come out against one of the best defensive teams in the National Hockey League and put up goal totals the way that they did, especially in those first few games against Carolina. I thought the Panthers just really started to, again, they really got rolling there after that Game 3 against Toronto and really started just taking their game to different heights. Again, this is a team that's battle-tested, a team that knows how to play this time of the year, but they seem to really be clicking in every area at exactly the right time here going into the Cup Final.
We're here with Panthers play-by-play man Doug Plagens, great friend of mine, and you bring up Brad Marchand, the trade to get him. Dude, how big was that now in hindsight when you look at what he's brought to the table for the Panthers?
It's been outstanding. And you know I know when the trade was made, a lot of people were excited about it for so many different reasons. Obviously, this is a future Hall of Fame type of player who's won the Stanley Cup before, who's played in multiple Cup finals, who's great at both ends of the ice, can put the puck in the net, can play on the penalty kill, can do everything for you. And that's what he's done. That's what he's done for this team since he's come in. He's been great in every situation. He's also elevated his teammates, the guys he's played with, and he's been an outstanding presence on the bench, in the locker room. He's a vocal guy. I know that's been exciting to see just the way this has all come to fruition. Brad Marchand as a member of the Panthers, especially coming over from a team that over the last couple of years had been one of the Panthers' main rivals, the Boston Bruins, and to come over and now be a member of the Panthers and contribute the way that he has and be right in the middle of some key playoff moments. It's been really exciting to see, but can also tell you that this is a guy that commands so much respect and is such a great guy off the ice too. And you throw all that together, and there's no reason, or I should say, it's no surprise why Brad Marchand, as a member of the Panthers, has just fit like a glove. And Paul Maurice, I asked him the day after the trade was made, and you remember Brad Marchand was dealing with an injury when the Panthers got him, so he didn't make his debut with the team immediately. There was a little bit of a wait before Brad Marchand did throw on the Panthers jersey for the first time. But Paul Maurice said the next day that Brad Marchand was a player that already had a little bit of Florida Panther in him, the way that he plays, and that has certainly been the truth as things have gotten rolling for Brad Marchand in a Panthers uniform.
You're absolutely right. The way he's playing, you'd think he's played for the Panthers for 5 years, and he knows all his teammates. It's incredible how he's gelled with this team, and you're right, just the veteran presence. Okay, let's get to this. You take on Edmonton, rematch of last year. You understand the Panthers are the villain here to the whole country of Canada. You understand this, right, Doug?
Well, going into it, I think we were talking about on our team podcast as well. It almost feels as if, even though the Panthers are the defending champion, it feels like the pressure has sort of shifted over to the Edmonton Oilers because they're the team that got back there after winning, and they're the team that has two of the 5 best players in the game, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and they're looking to cement their legacy. And obviously you keep hearing the storylines about no Canadian team having won a Stanley Cup since the 1993 Montreal Canadiens. All these different storylines that keep getting talked about. Almost feels, Mark, as if the pressure is sort of getting shifted Edmonton's way going into the series.
You're absolutely right. What are going to be the keys then for Florida to go hoist that cup again?
Well, obviously you don't get to a Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, a Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row by accident. So these are the 2 best teams in their respective conferences. They both their way there, and they're both playing their best hockey at the biggest time of the year. Both teams are loaded with offensive talent and can beat you a number of different ways. Both teams are willing to defend and can grind out a game if they have to. And maybe that's one area of Edmonton's game that has evolved over the last handful of years, is their ability to, kind of defend for a full 60 and grind out a game. But special teams, I think, is going to be paramount, specifically the penalty kills of the 2 teams. The Panthers have been really good on the penalty kill in these playoffs. And Edmonton's power play has always been dangerous. So I think if you look at these 2 teams, I think the penalty kill units could be a factor, could be something that could sway the series one way or the other. And Mark, it's playoff hockey, so I know this isn't exactly a groundbreaking statement I'm about to make, but Sergei Bobrovsky, Stuart Skinner, whichever goaltender is able to make one more big save for his team, that might be the team that comes out on top. Sergei Bobrovsky is stringing together one of the best playoff runs, and by the time it's all said and done, statistically, maybe the best playoff run of his future Hall of Fame career. Stuart Skinner's had his ups and downs, but since reassuming the goal crease for Edmonton, he has been pretty locked in. So again, this is a tightly matched series on paper. 2 very deserving teams that belong in the situation that they're in. It could come down to whoever makes that one more big save than the other guy, as far as what's ultimately able to swing this one in one team's favor over the other.
Follow up to that, you bring up McDavid. He won playoff MVP, even though the Panthers won the title last year. Is he in person? Is he worth the price of admission?
Well, I'll tell you what. When he's playing against your team, there are times where it's not always the most fun situation because he's dangerous and he can do things with the puck at full speed that nobody in the history of this game's ever been able to do. But Mark, if you're somebody who's learning hockey, haven't watched a ton of hockey, and you want to watch one of the most exciting talents that's ever played the game, and that's not hyperbole. He can do things at full speed with the puck on his stick that I don't think any anybody in the history of the sport's been able to do. He's a special player, and it's certainly a guy that I think at some point during his prime, every sports fan should probably get out and catch a glimpse of. But I think that speaks to not only both of these teams, they're loaded with star power, but it speaks to the talent level across the National Hockey League. It's a great time to be a hockey fan. It's a great time to dip your toe in the water of following hockey if you never have, because the skill level, the talent level across the entire league is the best that it's ever been. It's as exciting and as fast as it's ever been, and we expect this Cup final to be just like that, exciting, fast, and hey, if it's anything near the excitement of last year's Stanley Cup final, those watching across North America are going to be in for a treat, and hopefully the Panthers can come out on top once again.
Let's end with this here with Doug Plagens, play-by-play man for the Panthers. They're getting ready for Game 1 there at Edmonton coming up on Wednesday night. You've been with this organization for a long time now. You were pretty much there when they started to build this roster. How proud are you that you saw this from day one and they built it to a contender and now have a chance to win 2 in a row?
It's truly awesome. And first of all, the first people I think of are so many of the fans that predated my time here, obviously. This is my 10th season here. But I still talk to a handful of season ticket holders that come up and, say that they've been around since day one and things like that. And to see the excitement build inside the arena, to see the place sold out every single night at Amerant Bank Arena, to see the turnout for the watch parties and everything like that, and to hear casual hockey conversation around town and, see the car flags and see the gear everywhere, and you feel it. You feel how much the buzz and the electricity around this team has just picked up. But to see the way the product on the ice has grown as well, first of all, so much of the credit goes to ownership, Vinny Viola, the Viola family, and the culture that's been built here, and Bill Zito, the general manager, president of hockey operations, for building out this roster and enhancing the culture in the dressing room. And then obviously bringing in Paul Maurice and everything that he's been able to do as well. And you look back at all the players that have been brought in through various different ways, whether it's, blockbuster trades for a Matthew Tkachuk or big trades for a Sam Reinhart or a Sam Bennett or, a guy who's not here but was part of last year's Stanley Cup winner, the trade to get Brandon Montour, for example, or, other different ways of finding players, signing Carter Verhaeghe to free agency, a handful of years back and elevating his role and getting him more minutes and looking at the star player that he's been able to become. Looking at Gus Forsling, who by the time it's all said and done could wind up being the best waiver claim in the history of the National Hockey League. The Panthers got him for nothing, and he's one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League. And then you look also, Mark, and that guys like Alexander Barkov, like Aaron Ekblad, who've been cornerstones of this team for a long time, a decade plus in the case of each of them, and guys that this team's built around, and they've been here through some ups and downs, and to now see them not only as Stanley Cup champions, but guys getting back to try and win another. It's incredibly special, and to have been just along for the ride here as far as this goes over the last decade, it's truly an honor for me.
Great stuff with Doug Plagens. I just want you to know, I like the 3 young ladies who showed up to the arena in the Bob haircuts to support Bob in goal. Did you see this video of the ladies at the arena? You see this?
I don't believe I have, but obviously Sergei Bobrovsky's always had that, he gets his hair cut before the season and just kind of lets it go, and it's kind of part of his annual tradition. And, Sergei Bobrovsky, there's another guy, Mark, that I know a lot of times goaltenders are kind of on their own in a lot of places. It's their own position. You can't compare it to anything else. They're so important. They're oftentimes the backbones of teams. But they, what they do is different from what everybody else does. But Sergei Bobrovsky, his dedication, his preparedness every single day, whether it's a game day or a practice day, he's part of the leadership group on this team, and his dedication and his preparation and the way that he works, it reverberates throughout this entire roster. So even though he's a goaltender and what he's doing every day is a little different from what everybody else is doing, his teammates certainly take notice and feed off it.
Doug Plagens, my man, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're busy. Good luck on the finals, and I hope I can get you on again some time, all right?
Thanks so much, Mark. We'll talk to you later.